morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andrew Elphick. I've been operating as a self-employed tax consultant in the town of Greymouth, the west coast of the South Island, since 1997. And I've been branching out into business coaching. I find that businesses these days need more and more help to actually achieve what they want to achieve. And defining what they want to achieve is getting increasingly harder and harder. The first thing about being a business is mindset. You've got to change your mindset to what is actually going to motivate you. It's not just a job. You need to sit down, have a look at what you want to try and achieve: family, work-life balance, fitness, health, and getting into those bits and pieces which you find are the essence of your life. So sometimes it needs to step back, have a look at your source, your higher power, to try and figure out where you are at in the world. You've got a business idea. What you've got to do is research it. You've got to look at all the different bits and pieces that go together with that particular business. And one of those sorts of things that you need to look at is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Now, your strengths, those are the things you're good at. Those are the things that you can call on. You've got a whole big skill set there. So what I suggest you do when you go through the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats exercise is you find a wall with nothing on it. Put up 4 big headings: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. Get some post-it notes. Write on the post-it notes what your strengths are, what your skill set is. Put those underneath the strengths. Next up, what weaknesses do you have? Yeah, they could be weaknesses in regards to time management. They could be weaknesses in regards to having to look after children. But that's also opportunities. It's also a strength. So if you've got to put them in 2 particular columns, do so. Those weaknesses can be overcome by learning. So don't be afraid to put them down there. At least gives you something that you could learn about. Your next one are opportunities. What are the opportunities for you here? Could be your learning experience. It could be that the opportunity is there's a gap in the market. A gap in the market which allows you to get in there. Write those opportunities down. The next one is the threats to your business. Is competition a threat? Is the economic and political situation a threat? Is taxation or not being able to pay your bills a threat? Put them all down. The next part of it is to have a look at those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and take them to look at what you need to do to establish your business. If they're weaknesses, look at training programs to overcome them. If they're strengths, look at developing those strengths to actually project into your business. If it's a weakness, you can overcome those by buying in items, and they can affect cash flow down the track. If you've got to step back from all the situation because of your weaknesses and learn, do so. This is the ideal time to do it while you're in the phase of planning. The threats. Don't underestimate the threats to your business. It could be its competition. Remember, your competition is anywhere in the 21st century. Put it down. You might overcome those threats by having a pricing differential that undercuts them. Just remember, people can undercut you too. What it boils down to is your point of difference. And your point of difference could be in regards to quality, It could be the ethos and values which you operate on. It could be the way you actually approach people. I remember an author by the name of Ken Blanchard, and Ken Blanchard said that you always over-deliver. If someone wants to walk into your cafe for a coffee, you greet them by name. You make a personal connection with the client. You give them a coffee, but you might give them a free biscuit as well. And you make sure that those people are happy, comfortable, and want to come back again. All those particular items are what makes a successful business. And that mind connection between you and the client is the objective, to make your point of difference. The point of difference which will achieve success for you. So when you're going through the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, don't be afraid to put them all down. And when you do your analysis of those strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats, it could be that your point of difference comes from actually sitting down and working through those issues. Next up, you've got to sit down there and do a budget. A lot of your strengths, weaknesses and opportunities and threats has thrown out costs. Every cost on your budget has a factor that's going to affect perhaps sales, or it's going to affect you. Communication, for example, has a lot of factors. You're communicating with your clients. It could be through advertising, website, social media. You've also got to choose your particular medium in regards to telecommunications. You may have a mobile, but then you've got access to fibre, naked broadband. You've also got the ability to put that out into the internet. You might have a website. You might also have cloud-based storage mediums. Those cloud-based storage mediums allowed you to project your message across. For example, with video or with e-signs, with newsletters. My site, Anywhere Business Network on Facebook, has examples of newsletters that are compiled and video. So uploading those to a cloud-based server allows you to import back in to items such as Facebook or items such as your newsletters. When you sit down there and do your cash flow budgeting, you might want to get some tools. Your local accountant has got tools like BankLink, for example, which would allow you to put budgeting information straight in year on year on year into your cash flow analysis. Each of those lines on your chart of accounts, which are the items which you're spending money on, for example, those communication items, advertising, website, internet, telecommunications, are all items of overhead. They're indirect expenditure. You also have an item called direct expenditure, and that varies with the amount of sales that you have. If you're dealing in goods, you might want to get into actually getting those goods just in time for the sale, which means you need to study the logistics chain of getting the goods from point A to the client. They don't necessarily have to come by you these days. Services such as Amazon allow you to actually sell those goods on Amazon, and Amazon actually are warehousing those particular goods. Jack Ma and our Prime Minister, John Key, signed an agreement to utilise Alibaba. And DHL, for example, has got warehouses in Shanghai with daily services to New Zealand, which allow you to import goods relatively quickly to New Zealand from China. That's an example. How do you do this? We start utilising the power of the internet. Is that a weakness on your part? Well, perhaps you should learn a bit about the internet. Where can you do that? Well, you could do it at your local polytech. You could do an MBA, all part-time, over a number of years. You could learn all this stuff on the job. Or you could go to a website that allows you to actually learn about a lot of these tools I'm talking about, these digital skills, and put them into practice. A site which gives you the website hosting, a site which gives you the ability to study social media and to look at the insights on it. What I'll do is I'll just show you what sort of information you can get by looking at social media. And particularly, I'll hone in on the insights that you can get from Facebook. Just share the screen. Just this is my website, Anywhere Business Network, and it's got a bit more information on it than the average Facebook site. I can go into here and look at various tools like insights, and I can look at various targeted campaigns that I've done, like videos and posts, to see how effective they have been. Post engagements over the 6 days to 10th of July, for example, there were 93 post engagements where people clicked back to activities on my site. There was also 1,600 views of the video. Information like this tells me that the more videos I put on Facebook, the greater chance of my message being sent out. So it led me towards learning about digital skills in respect of videos. It also allows me to see which videos are actually being promoted the best. For example, this webinar had $26 and 4 engagements. Not necessarily enough engagements, but it reached 535 people. And even the benefits of working from home had 959 engagements. It's not much by world standards, but at the same time, it gets my message out there. They say that on average, a person engages up to 7 times before they buy your good or service. So that's a good insight for me. When it comes down to it, items such as this allow people to actually look at the laser-targeted marketing that you're doing to determine what's working and what isn't. And it's a relatively cheap medium to do it on Facebook. You could target the area of Greymouth, for example. You could target men or women over the age of 25 who are interested in education. And that laser targets those people in Greymouth that may want your particular good or service. But you've got to be careful how you do it. And that's where the learning comes in. Tracking all the income and expenditure and doing these budgets. You've got to know how much you're going to spend on marketing. So doing a bit of test marketing, such as the stuff that I showed you on Facebook, gives you a value spend that you're going to do. And that spend can then translate into your budget later. So don't be afraid to try out your business to start off with and slowly grow your business over time. Tweaking your business plan and your budgets as you go from the amount of information that you receive back in. Now, I talked about before about learning about digital marketing. I came across a site of people, a group of people called Six Figures Mentors, and on that site they have a large amount of tools. Those tools allow one to actually look at social media, look at websites, look at creation of videos, set goals, talk to like-minded people, try out stuff, do blogging, and actually move into a digital environment. Six Figure Mentors has a lot of resources. It has a digital business lounge where you're able to put together websites. On those websites, you can turn around and buy a website, and get it hosted here, and also put together WordPress themes. There's also helpful videos which allow you to work your way through there. It also has, for me, different sorts of training sessions. Like, for example, on Facebook, this has 10, 15 items on how to look at Facebook and how to utilize Facebook. It also has webinars with people that you can ask questions to. And those people are very experienced marketers. So it's helpful for me, coming from a position that I don't know very much about digital marketing, to actually coming into a position whereby I'm learning constantly about when and where to digital market. On my Facebook site, Anywhere Business Network, you'll find a whole lot of links. If you click on the link to anywherebusinessnetwork.com, you'll start to get some of the videos that the script puts together. I'd really contemplate learning those digital skills. That'd be really helpful for your home to business to project outside of the particular area where you are. I know, living in a remote area like Greymouth, that I need to project outside of Greymouth to get a market. There are only a limited amount of people here. If you've got goods and services, you can digitise them. If you can digitise them, you can sell them to the world. Just think about those things. Today's only been an introduction to home business. If you want to know more, send us a question. Ask your local accountant about those particular things that I talked about. Home business budgeting, getting cash flow analysis, those sorts of things. If you want to learn more, you do it relatively quickly, or you do it by correspondence. There's plenty of courses out there to do it. I just gave you ones that I'd endorse. Hey, have a great day. See ya.